Wow. Actually, when we were driving down, thank you to Wayne who picked me up at the airport.
So we do at Santa Cruz style?
I was just going to say, we were driving down the road and I saw the, oh, thank you.
Yeah.
The guy pushing his shopping cart with all of his belongings in it, right? He had long hair. I don't think he'd ever shaved in his life. And, wow, I forgot to breathe for a minute. So, anyways, he's pushing all his stuff down, and then I thought, hey, this is like Santa Cruz. And I guess my point in saying that is that, thank you, Mark, by the way, that was a great introduction. I love to surf. I've got a great family, but and alongside of that, equally as important is, don't we just have the most right-on profession in the world? I mean, so let's hear it for chiropractic. It's so great that we can get up just fired up every day to go to work and see. I know there's a lot of CAs in the room. There's some DCs to be that I met, so congratulations on that. But just every day we get up and we're fired up, and to fly down here and be with you tonight is an exciting thing for me. So just compare that to what 90% of the population out there has. Let's take this as an example. Let's say you work at Safeway, okay? And you call your buddy up, and you're a checker at Safeway, and you call your buddy up and you go, hey, Mark, you know what? You live an hour and a half flight away. I want you to pay for an airline ticket. I want you to come down, you book yourself in a hotel, spend the night with me, and we're going to hang out at my check stand. And we're going to I'm going to show you how I move the stuff through, and I check the stuff, and I take people's money, and I smile, and I say, how are you? And they say, fine, how are you? And they don't give a shit about what I say in response, because when you say, how are you? And they say, oh, I'm fine, how are you? They don't care what you say. They don't care really what the answer is. 5 minutes later, if you asked them, well, what did I say when you asked me how I was? Most people go, I don't know what you said. Am I supposed to care? So when you ask somebody, how are they, you should really listen to their answer and be connected with them soul to soul. But anyway, so we meet for at the check stand for the night. We're going to stay up till 3, 4 o'clock in the morning after your plane flight, and we're just going to talk about checking people through. We're going to talk about their groceries. We're going to get into it. We're going to talk about what they buy. We're going to role play some scripts. And 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, when we're tired, we're going to go to bed. And then, guess what? I get up at 6 o'clock in the morning. We're going to go back to the check stand, and we're going to start our normal work day. People look at you and they're like, this person's insane. But no, well, okay, that's fine then. That's chiropractic. I mean, don't we do that? I came up here, down here, sorry, and we'll probably stay up all night long, and we're just going to talk about chiropractic all night long. And just that in of itself is exciting enough for us to be here together, to be dipped and committed. And for many of us, we'll be up early tomorrow morning going into the adjusting room to get our hands on one more patient, and then one more after that, and one more after that. And tomorrow night, we might stay up all night again talking about chiropractic. If you hang out with Billy D, that's how it goes. So I just want to say that we have the best profession. There's no other profession that I know of where people get that excited about what they do year after year after year after year, thousands of patients later, and here we are. We're just as excited, if not more fired up than the day we got into this thing. And we're just pumped. And I forgot to breathe again. And so just for a moment, just recognize what we have. Because when you see somebody out there who doesn't have what we have, like these people that were walking on the street today with their shopping cart with all their belongings, and the best that they can hope for is a fraction of what we have, what is your thought when you look at someone like that? You know what my thought is? That person needs an adjustment. They need an adjustment on their atlas, right? That's what my license plate says. It says adjust C1, just adjust C1. When you get your hands on a patient, and maybe it's a homeless person. My office is right next door to the homeless shelter. And I take care of a lot of them. And do they pay me? Well, whatever they can pay. I mean, that's just how it goes. But my vision for when I get my hands on them is, what does this person have the potential to become? I don't care what's happened in the past, what's brought them to where they're at this low point in their life or this high point, whatever it is. What can this person become? Think about that when you have a child come into your office and you're adjusting them, and in your mind you're thinking, what's the potential here? Is the potential to get rid of headaches? I could care less about that. I mean, I want to help the person. I want them to feel good, but we all know that if the person becomes healthier for a long enough amount of time, their symptoms go away. The body heals itself. So let's not get caught up in the moment about treatment. Oh, that word just gets to me. Don't use the word treatment, first of all, please. It means to cure symptoms. It means to address symptoms. If you look it up in the dictionary, it means to address symptoms. Just get it out of your life. It's a medical term, and we don't want to follow that model. I'm going to read from the green books here in a minute, but just think about the potential of what you can offer. And when I'm taking care of a child and I'm thinking about that, I think, here's a child that maybe they're suffering from asthma, some health condition that's preventing them from being what they could be without that interference, without that subluxation that's choking off the life force in their body. When I'm thinking about how I could release that and open those nerves, and then what can happen from there? Maybe your hands are on the next president of the United States. Maybe this is somebody who's going to change the world. You want to screw that adjustment up? No way. So don't take that lightly. Every time you get your hands on somebody, and I don't care if it's the person pushing the shopping cart that hasn't had a bath in 3 months, or if it's the CEO of your most respected company with the big health insurance or whatever, think about what they can become, right? BJ said, you never know how far-reaching something you may say, do, or think today will affect the lives of millions tomorrow. And I've taken care of some kids that were hard up, and I've been in practice long enough to see what they've become. And they've become successful people with families and children and jobs and contributing to society and not going down that other path. And CAs in the room, think of that too, because there's a patient that calls and says, I can't make my appointment today. Sorry if I'm looking at doctors thinking you're a CA, but maybe I got it backwards. But I can't make it today. Think about what that could change for their life, the course of their life. We've seen these movies where you go back in time and some little change has a ripple effect that goes through the whole movie and it changes the whole outcome of the movie, right? That's what your adjustment does. So don't take that lightly. And I think that for all of us, our goal in practice should be to maximize our practice, to serve as many people as we can. I mean, that was, I guess not recently, I've kind of slowed down a little bit since I had kids, but for a long time we were seeing over 200 patients a day by myself. I didn't have any other doctors in the office. You just get there at 7 in the morning and go home when they're done. And I had a little 1,100 square foot office, and next door was a bakery. And our reception room held like 10 of those Costco chairs, the little tiny things, so not a lot of people fit in there. And it was a Saturday morning, and actually this wasn't what I was planning on talking about, but it's kind of a funny story. So Saturday morning, and I'm back there, I'm just adjusting patients. You just go from patient to patient, you take care of them, and you do what you're doing. And all of a sudden, there's the owner of the bakery next door, and he says, hey, my clients can't get in they can't. There's nowhere to park for my bakery. Nobody can park in front of my bakery today, and we're losing business because of you. And I said, oh, I'm really sorry. I'll have my patients park across the parking lot. He said, no, you don't understand. They're standing around in the parking spaces. There's nowhere to park cars because there's a crowd of people outside your office waiting to get in to get adjusted. Fortunately, he was a patient. I was taking care of him, so he kind of understood how the flow went. And I said, well, give me half an hour. I'll clear the place out, and we'll be fine. But just when your message is clear, when your commitment is there, when you're making that eye-to-eye contact with the person that you're taking care of, it doesn't matter if it's 30 seconds, there's that connection, right? Yeah. It doesn't matter the time, it's that connection that you make. People will be busting down your doors for you to take care of them. Not only for you to take care of them, but for you to take care of their families. And that's where I really get the most joy in what we do, because anybody read the book Bill Clinton wrote? It's called Giving, New York Times bestseller. And he says that for the first time in the history of our country, and this was I think this was 2 years ago now, but in the history of the United States, for the first time ever, our children are not expected to live the lifespan of an adult today. Now, if that doesn't give you goosebumps, I don't know what is, but what that tells us is that in a country where the lights have gone dark, right? I mean, I'm pretty adamant. It's us against them. I mean, against the pharmaceutical industry. They have put this darkness over our country. We're the beacon of light coming out of that. And for 16 years now, our principles have not changed one bit. Not one bit. Nothing's changed for us, except what we've added to it. But the principles by which this whole thing started, there was a room of people, and I mean, not that I'm B.J. Palmer, but B.J. was standing up in front of a room of people like this, and it was about this size, and that was all the chiropractors in the whole world. And from that came us today and what we have. Not only that, but from that came a principle that has not changed in 116 years. And as much as science tries to disprove us, and the medical community, and I got friends that are MDs, whatever, my war, the army that we need to fight with is against the pharmaceutical industries. They don't want healthy people. They want sick and dying people. That's what makes money. And that's evil. And I rode the plane today. Boy, that poor lady. I sat next to an MD all the way down here today. She was my captive audience for an hour and a half. And I was thinking about this, and I was nervous. I mean, it's one thing to get up and talk to your patients. You give your orientation and stuff, but boy, you get in front of a bunch of chiropractors like, Jesus. Especially when they're your friends. Anyways. So this poor lady, I thought, I'm going to go soft. I'm going to find out where her headspace is and how excited she is. Think she'd go to Safeway and work at the check stand till 4 in the morning? No way. There was a headline in the Santa Cruz Sentinel. Boy, I had this whole thing planned out in those green books. We'll get to them. It'll be all right. But in the Santa Cruz Sentinel, there was a headline. It said, Pfizer, big headline, Pfizer searching for new drugs. I don't know, I may not be quoting it, but that was the headline. Pfizer searching for new drugs. And the way they had this thing phrased was that when you read it, you think, oh, uh-oh. Sorry. Is that the first time that's ever happened?
We're broadcasting live. It's not a big deal.
Here, let me put it on there. There we go. Yeah, thank you. That's right. This is live. I forgot about that. So anyways, this headline from, Pfizer, you think, oh boy, well, think of the layperson. I mean, obviously, we've got some experience behind this thing. We can see between the lines. But you think of the average person out there going, wow, that's so great. Pfizer wants to help people. They want to make more drugs, right? Ugh. You read the article, and the reason why Pfizer wants to make more drugs is because their patents are expiring on their main name brand drugs, the mainline drugs, right? So the patents are expiring. Thank you. I'll need one for my shirt, too. I put one up here. So their patents are expiring. So what that means is that all these generic drugs are going to flood the markets. They don't care about getting people well. What they want to know is they want to make new drugs fast so they don't lose their market share and their profits drop. I'm sorry, there was another part to the title of that which I left out, which is important. It says, Pfizer gets pressure from shareholders to make new drugs. Okay, maybe you saw that headline. I don't know. So, but the first thought is, oh, their shareholders are putting pressure on Pfizer so they can help more people, so they can make more drugs and save the world. They don't care about that. In fact, they do, actually. They care. The reason why they care is because they want to maintain market share. They don't want to get sick people well. No. Right? If you ever saw Chris Rock, I don't know if you saw Chris Rock in that movie where he says, there's no money in the cure. It's in the drugs. So, how are you telling the story every day when you're in your practice? My home number is on my answering machine. I mean, I'm connected. I'm taking care of the same kids that taught me how to tap a keg. You grow up in your hometown, that's how it is. These are the same guys. We learned how to surf together. We traded dates and tap kegs. And here they are coming in and they're paying me. Now, I'll tell you something, for a little practice tip. Let's do an example. What's your name?
Derek.
Derek. So let's say Derek comes in. We've been friends since we were kids. So he comes in to get adjusted, and I'm saying, hey, Derek, I'm doing your adjustment. Hey, Derek, did you get those waves over the weekend? It's pump and surf, huh? Yeah, did you get out there?
Waves.
Yeah, good time, huh?
Yep.
Okay, that'll be $50. He's like, that's the same conversation we just had when we were checking the waves, you idiot. Why am I going to pay you $50 to talk about surfing? That's what we talk about when we're tapping the keg, right? So think about the conversations that you're having with your patients. And especially the patients you've been taking care of for a long time. These are the people you've gotten to know. You're probably taking care of their children. You're taking care of their wife, their husband, their mom, their dad. Every time you have a conversation with a patient, you think about that for a second. Think about, is this a conversation that is worth them paying me? Or is this a conversation that I would just have with them on the street in passing? Is this like the, hey, how's it going, bro? How was the waves? No one's going to pay $50 for that. It's not worth the time. It's not worth the money. So be committed to your patients. Make sure it's worth their time, worth their money. Put some value on it. So when I get with a patient and I've got 1 minute with them, I don't want to blow that. I don't want to devalue that. I don't want to be disrespectful to them. They're paying me for that. There's only one thing we're going to talk about, and that's what they're paying me for. And as soon as you lose that, as soon as you lose that connection, they're gone. There's no value anymore. Hey, we're just talking about the waves. What do I want to pay for that? It's not worth it to me. So stay committed to your patients. Doesn't matter if they're pushing the shopping cart, like I said, if they're whatever walk of life they're from, whether they want to call you on your, I just got a phone call. I mean, I don't know, in 15 years of practice, my home number's been on my answering machine the whole time. I think I've gotten 10 phone calls at home. And I go. When they call, I go. But be connected to your community. But be connected with one thing, and that's chiropractic. When you're not in your office, you can talk about whatever you want. And I do, hey, bro, how's the waves? That kind of thing. You're not in the office, that's fine. But when you're in your office, there's only one thing that's going on in your office. And I'll tell you, when they're not in your office, they're getting a whole bunch of other stuff, aren't they? I just realized I got all this stuff over here. Okay, we'll get to it. That's okay. So, when they're not in your office, they're getting this, aren't they? Prevention Magazine. This is Prevention Magazine. Okay, we're going to prevent stuff here. Right on the cover. The heart attack you stop may be your own. Right? We're all just victims of whatever happens to come along our way. We've all lost touch with the fact that the body is a self-healing, self-regulating organism. So, if you're reading Prevention Magazine, here's what you're going to get. Let's just try this. This is prevention. This is how you prevent stuff, okay? This is what when they leave your office, every one of these pages I'm going to tear out is a drug ad in Prevention Magazine. Now, we could go into other magazines, but I just thought this is an appropriate title because this is supposed to be teaching people how to prevent diseases. This is supposed to be teaching people how to stay healthy. And when your patients leave your office, this is what they get hit with, like a semi-truck, right? 30% of television commercials. I don't know how many pages in just this one little magazine. I dog-eared all these on the plane down here today. And this was with the MD. I showed her this. I said, I want you to just watch this because this is prevention. And watch this. I'm going to fold every single drug ad, and I want you to tell me how because she was getting ready to take her boards, how you are going to make sure that people stay healthy. And here we go. I'm still folding dog-earing pages, right? Yeah, this is how you prevent stuff. The reason why you have headaches is because you don't have enough Tylenol in your bloodstream. So think about this. Your patients leave your office. Every one of these is one drug ad, one page. And this is in one magazine. They leave your office. I'm going to read you this one. This is the insert. So when you happen to fold the magazine open, it just sort of haphazardly falls to this page, right? So when they leave your office, this is what they get. So don't blow it when they're in your office because you got 1 minute with them and you're going to provide a lifetime of education in that 1 minute over however many visits they stay with you. Oh wait, here, I forgot this one. I didn't even see this one. The heart attack you're about to have will happen when you least expect it over the course of an ordinary day, perhaps soon after you've gotten a clean bill of health from your doctor. Of course, the company that funds your doctor's salary, do they really want you to be healthy? Do they care if you have a heart attack? Oh yeah, they do. They care. But do they want it to not happen? No, no, no. Because that means drug sales go up. Pfizer makes more money. Shareholders are happy. Pfizer's pushing more drugs. Still going. Still going. The minute they leave your office, this is what they're hit with. Every single day. Everywhere they go. Prevention, outsmart diabetes. And they got a big bowl of pasta right there on the thing. Big bowl of pasta. Outsmart diabetes. Sugar, pasta, sorry. No, didn't go over your head, right? Okay, let's keep going. The truth about statins. Oh, gee, the side effect of Xanax, not Xanax. Lipitor. The side effect of Lipitor is to inhibit coenzyme Q10. Causes heart disease. Think they want, there's no money in the cure. Just sell more drugs. And the side effect right on there is heart disease. Sorry, I'm making a bit of a mess here. There's not supposed to be that many pages in here, is there? Still going. So, we got an uphill fight here, don't we? It's us against them. And there was a time when this was it, right here. This was it. And from that came an entire profession, because these chiropractors, like us, I'm sure that in this room we've got a bunch of committed chiropractors, because we told the story and we didn't dilute it, we didn't water it down. When you're in your practice, don't water it down. Don't give in to the insurance. I'm going to read you some stuff that BJ said about that in a minute. Still going. I guess I should probably finish up, huh? Anyways, I'll just stop there. Still going. I mean, look at all this Prevention Magazine. So when your patients leave your office, sorry, I should pick up my desk here. Uh-oh. I unplugged. Oh, here. So this one, though, because obviously that's the one that the page falls open to. Never get sick. 76 ways to stay healthy in a germ-filled world. That was funded by Johnson & Johnson. Now, what do they want to sell? Johnson & Johnson. Germ-filled world. Germs are everywhere. Hand soaps. Antibacterials. Right? They put this in there. Subliminal messages. You know, now, you've seen, I don't have cable, but I'm sure you probably see it on television, where they've got all the side effects on the drug ads. Okay? Now you think, who put that? I mean, obviously they must have passed some laws because the drug companies need to tell us what the side effects are. Well, I was having a conversation with a patient the other day, and I was telling her, because she was taking an antidepressant drug, I don't remember which one it was, but I was asking her, I said, don't you know what the side effects are to this thing? She'd been taking it for years. She goes, yeah, but they talk about it on TV, so it's not that big of a deal, is it? Now, is that an intelligent marketing plan? Sorry, scam, I don't know. But anyways, is it? I mean, let's deliver the message, even though it's absurd, so many times that people just become numb to it. And they don't even think about, oh yeah, suicidal tendencies, that's the first one. No big deal, it's on the television. Right? That's the first side effect. So there's this evil that's creeping over our world, and it's killing people, right and left, in bigger numbers than almost anything else. And we have a single truth that can save it all through chiropractic. Right on? Right on. And that's how committed you got to be. When you get up in the morning, there's a story in Africa, right, where the lion gets up in the morning and it knows that it has to run faster than the slowest gazelle or it'll starve to death. And the same morning in Africa, the gazelle gets up and it says, I got to run faster than the fastest lion or I'll be eaten. Whether you're a lion or a gazelle, when you get up in the morning, you better be running. Right? And that's how it is. When you get up in the morning, what's your footprint going to be? When you get up in the morning, how many people are you going to serve? And when you're tired and you're beat and the patient comes in at the wrong time and you got to do an ROF, right when you're about to leave the office, what do you say? You say, right on, because what's the potential of that person? You don't turn that person away. I mean, I'll be doing this for as long as I can walk. No question. I mean, could you imagine retiring? I mean, how much fun is this? I mean, you go to the office and you take care of kids and they climb all over you and they scratch your walls and they kick in the furniture and then 10 years later they come in with their wife now and their kids. And I've been doing this long enough now. The kids that were coming in diapers are now getting married. And it's awesome. And if you're thinking about retirement, imagine this. Imagine you give your life to this thing and you get to a point where you say, and this is for the CAs in the room too, because you're just as important. There's a message to be spread here, and it's coming through you too. I kind of forgot to finish that story, but the patient calls and they're like, I'm not going to come in, and you're responsible for getting them in the office so that we can take care of them. Just as important. So you're slowing down. You're thinking, I'm going to just retire this. I'll stop this chiropractic thing because I've been doing it long enough. And you get a call from a mom that you took care of when she was just a little girl, maybe a newborn. Maybe you gave her an adjustment at the hospital when she was just born. 30 years later, and now she's calling you saying, my little boy's got asthma. I'm retired. Are you kidding me? Come on, I'm retired. What do you call him? Go call the next guy. Right? There's no way. Your phone's never going to go off. Maybe you slow down a little bit. I've got a patient who's in his 90s, and he pours concrete for a living. He's 93 years old. This guy's name's Lee. He's like an icon in Santa Cruz. He was a surfing legend 50 years ago. And he still pours concrete. And I go, and the guy has been adjusted forever, long before I was taking care of him. And his spine actually has a normal curve, great disc spaces. The guy's on fire. He's been under chiropractic care for longer than I've been alive. I'm honored to take care of him. But I said, Lee, what are you pouring concrete for? You're 93 years old. What are you, crazy? He goes, because I can. I like it. Wow, that's brilliant. So think about what we have. Actually, let me get into some Green Book stuff, because this is what, listen to this message. I've had the opportunity, I had some goals in my life. When I turned 30, my goal was to buy a Corvette. And so I set this goal. I said, okay, when we serve 200 patients a day, I'm going to buy a Corvette. And we hit it long before I was 30, and so I just had the cash. When I turned 30, I thought, well, that's going to be my birthday present. I went out and I bought a Corvette. And it's interesting because with patients, we can get into like the inner workings of the body, and some of them are into it. Some of them like it. And others, they could give a crap. They don't care. Like me with the Corvette, I don't know if you know David Whitworth, a good friend of mine up in the Bay Area. He's really into cars, and he'll say, wow, how much, I'm not even going to use the right terms, well, how much torque does it have? How many horsepower does it have? What's under the engine? I'm like, David, I don't know. I put the top down, and I drive along and check the waves. When I turn it on, it goes. That's why I bought it, right? So for your patients, level with it. I guess this is off on a way left field tangent. I don't know if you can follow me. Corvette? What's going on? Serving? No, my point is that get in tune with your patients. Some of them want to be into it, like tell me about the nervous system and stuff. But level with them, connect with them, get that soul-to-soul contact. Because some of them, they could care less about how their body works. What they want to know is that they're going to celebrate their 100th birthday. I just had somebody come in and say that. I don't really care about the symptoms, Doc. My goal is to celebrate my 100th birthday, and I want you to be part of my team. I thought, damn, that's right on. I want lots of new patients to come in and say that. So level with your patients, connect with your patients, and as I said, not to beat it up too much, but be committed to your patients. That's what we've got. This is an original. I've got some original Green Books here. This is, sorry, that's where I was going with the Corvette thing. So my goal for my 40th birthday, which is coming up here in August, was to buy a complete set of original edition Green Books. First edition, every one of them, the whole set. So I found it. I bought it. This one is, which I'll read from in a moment, this is The Bigness of the Fellow Within. How many of you have this book? I found some new stuff on the plane coming here today. This book rocks. I mean, there's so much in here that you could just pick this thing up almost any time and just read it and go, wow, this was written in 1949. They hit the nail on the head, and here it is, 2011. Just right dead on the head, and here we are, true today, which is going in line with what I said earlier. Here we are 116 years later, and the principles by which we're practicing today have been reproven over and over and over. Think about the procedures that were being done back then. Are any of them the same? I hope not. I mean, I don't see any MDs with leeches in their office, right? They keep trying stuff and trying new stuff and trying new stuff, and it doesn't work because it's not based on the fundamental truths. I mean, yes, crisis stuff, yes, it works for that. But But in terms of medicine and healthcare, the truth of healthcare does jive with what medicine is based on. They don't mix. It's like oil and water. They'll never work. Never worked. 116 years later, and it's still not working. Do we have a healthier place now than we did then? No. Look at Bill Clinton's book. Our lifespans are downhill. We got a big job ahead of us. When you're setting goals for practice, I want you to think about it this is how I think of my practice. When I get to where I hit, and that goal was set based on me thinking that was the best I could do. So let's just say, for example, like if you set a goal, okay, I'm going to see 2 in a day. And you get there, and you go, okay, I did it. And you just settle into what your personal best is, you can't have to go past it. Right? Because that's the way you'll know that this is really where you want to be. Then you can really get this thing square in the face and say, yeah, I've been there, I didn't like that. Be. See, I write in my bathroom mirror. My wife thinks I'm crazy, but I'm always writing this stuff, and she's through it, and I've got all this stuff written on my mirror in dry erase pens, and that's where I put it. And so I had, when we were getting up into 180, 190, to cross that mark, I crossed 200, and I wrote 300.